Hi, I'm Dave Karger. Thanks for joining me today on TCM. Our afternoon lineup continues now with the movie that made Paul Newman a Hollywood star. Newman's career began in New York in the early 1950s, where he studied at the Actors Studio and made his Broadway debut in the play Picnic. Hollywood was quick to take note, and Warner Brothers signed Newman to a contract. But his film debut in the 1954 epic The Silver Chalice turned out to be an embarrassing flop. Paul Newman later referred to it as the worst film made during the 1950s. Fortunately, he got the chance to redeem himself with the film that you're about to see. From MGM in 1956 and directed by Robert Wise, it's Somebody Up There Likes Me. The movie dramatizes the real-life story of Rocky Graziano, a streetwise kid from New York's Lower East Side who went on to become the middleweight boxing champion of the world. The script was adapted from Graziano's autobiography and was written for the screen by Ernest Lehman. Going into production, Lehman and director Robert Wise had a different actor in mind to star as Rocky Graziano. The movie was supposed to be a vehicle for James Dean. But just before shooting began, Dean was tragically killed in a car accident on September 30th, 1955. MGM had to scramble to find a replacement for this film and chose Paul Newman. Newman's performance here turned the tide of his Hollywood career and made him an important star overnight. As you're watching, also keep an eye out for two other future movie stars whose careers were just getting started. A young George C. Scott makes his film debut here as a prison inmate, and Steve McQueen plays a pal of Rocky Graziano's, but neither one received a screen credit. From 1956, also with Pierre Angeli, Everett Sloan, Eileen Heckert, and Sal Mineo, Somebody Up There Likes Me. Somebody Up There Likes Me received 3 Oscar nominations, winning for its art direction and cinematography. In the latter category, it beat another excellent boxing drama that was released the same year, The Harder They Fall, which was Humphrey Bogart's final film. The cinematographer who won the Oscar for Somebody Up There Likes Me was Joseph Ruttenberg, and this was his 3rd Academy Award. He had won twice before for The Great Waltz from 1938 and Mrs. Miniver from 1942. He would go on to win a 4th Oscar 2 years later for his work in color on the 1958 musical Gigi. Ruttenberg had started his career in the early days of silent films, working as a newsreel cameraman beginning in 1914. He photographed his last film 54 years later, the Elvis Presley-Nancy Sinatra musical Speedway from 1968. Along the way, Joseph Ruttenberg earned 10 Oscar nominations, 8 of which were for films he shot in black and white. Up next, Ray Milland plots the almost perfect murder in a 1954 thriller directed by Alfred Hitchcock and co-starring Grace Kelly.
Next on TCM, dial M for murder, then Get Carter, and later, Death Trap. Raise a little Cain with Michael tonight.